and Miss Aishwarya Mittal, student of MC 4 SEM, will act as a student coordinator for question and answer round. I'd like to introduce today's moderator, Mr. Chetan Vashisht, technical lead NEC, and today's expert, Mr. Gaurav Dubey, senior software engineer Adobe, and Mr. Aditya Bindal, senior software engineer Microsoft. I request to Dr. Ajay Kumar Srivastav, head of Department of Computer Applications, to welcome our guest, Dr. Ajay Kumar Srivastav.
Thank you, Krishna. On the behalf of KIET Group of Institutions and the Department of Computer Application, first of all, I welcome all our guests, Mr. Gaurav from Adobe and Mr. Aditya from Microsoft, and our beloved Chetan from NEC, and all my colleagues and my dear students. And it's a very good and a timely topic to discuss, because now the students or the budding engineers are bothering about the industry, that what is going to happen, and that is the right platform where they can listen or they can ask their queries from the industry expert, that what is going to happen after 1 month or 2 months, whenever they are going to pass out. So that is the timely and very right choice for the topic. And I once again welcome for our guest, and thanks to Chetan to organize this event. So I want to move forward and giving the mic to Mr. Chetan. He is the moderator. So please, Chetan, take over.
Thanks a lot, sir. And it's a great exposure to me to talk to such huge gathering of MCA students, and it's kind of a different experience. I was a part of various seminars before as well, but going online and using this Teams stuff, online setup, is kind of a new experience to me as well. So let's start with our presentation. And before that, I would like to mention that I am using account of Mr. Prashant Kumar. So if any question, if anybody want to ask any query, then don't search for Chetan, search for Prashant Kumar and send your personal message there, and I will take those queries during our discussion. So let's formally start this discussion on post-COVID world. Hope my screen is visible to all. Can I confirm?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. So as sir already has told that this is a webinar on the COVID-19 impact on IT industry. It's a dialogue between college students and IT industry people, which we have two guests with us, that is Gaurav and Aditya. So let's start here. So we are running through exciting times. Yes, I would say this exciting times, because we all are aware about the theory of evolution given by Darwin, and human brain is hardwired in a special way. So human brain works very well, or human brain innovates very well through the times of crisis, because at the time of evolution, the main aim behind human is to stay alive. So there is a special reward for every human brain to think new stuff, to evolve, to innovate in the time of crisis. And the best thing is, crisis can't be simulated. So you can't create a simulated environment to behave like crisis. Either it happens or it doesn't. So right now we are in the mid of crisis, and this is the best time to evolve. This is the best time to innovate. This is the best time to redefine our culture, redefine our way of working and everything. So going forward, just think about, if let's say we are in the September or October, when this corona thing didn't happen, and government just come and say that all the educational institutes are going to be online. So how those institutes might be responding to that? They will ask for 2 years time, they will ask for 3 years or 5 years of time to completely build their infra, to completely go online. but how this happened in just 2 months. So we have achieved the task of a decade in these 2 months. That how fast our mankind is responding to this crisis. Just think about completely going work from home for each and every organization. Many of organization would come upfront and say it's can't be done, but now everyone is doing this and doing this successfully. We are working at least at the 150% of our productivity for my organization. Just think about the small shopkeepers, mom and pop shops. If you say them, uncle, just go online, I will buy this stuff, I will buy my kirana online, he will completely deny that. He will say, boy, it's not possible. But now every kirana shop want to do online transactions, they want to deliver online, and in fact they are coming to the online platforms. And the best part is this all thing in IT, software engineers are the backbone of all this paradigm shift. And these software engineers are with us. These future engineers, this future workforce, these future innovators are the one who are sitting on the another side, who are studying right now in the college and going to make this all happen in the coming days. So friends, this is not the tough time, this is exciting time, and we are a part of history in making. So now let's me set the agenda of today's discussion. So we have find out three main areas of concern for the today discussion. These areas are job scenario with COVID and post COVID. Another thing, the preparedness of students. How should a student who is right now studying in college, is completing his engineering, should prepare himself or herself for the post COVID world or to get a job during the COVID? Because COVID is not till end, it's running, and as many of our leaders are saying, we need to live with it, we need to deal with it. And the final part is geek based economy. So how one can prepare himself or herself for the recession, how one can be working, can be making a minimum monthly wage, a minimum monthly income by doing some skill development or by doing some of the stuff in the freelancing basis. So this is the third agenda. So let's move on. The first agenda is job scenario. As we all are seeing that the service industry is kind of on the back foot. So if we talk about TCS, Infosys, Accenture, and all the other mass recruiters, then they are something kind of on the hibernate mode, and things are not clear in that scenario. So I would like to ask our guest when and how this is going to be come back on the track.
Yes, Chetan. When and how these are going to come back? Uh, these are definitely uncertain times. And if you ask me personally, maybe when I'm going to go outside and eat in a restaurant, I don't know. Maybe next month, maybe next year. If you ask me when I'm planning for my next trip, probably maybe within India or maybe outside India, I don't know. If you say vaccine is available next month and everything is fine and smooth by September, probably I will have my shutdown somewhere. If not, maybe in 2021. So same ways, companies are also very uncertain about it. I mean, they're still figuring out their next moves. Priorities have changed, and it would be a lie. It would be a lie, in fact, if I would say that things are going to remain same as it was before this COVID-19 impact. At the same time, companies are reviewing their goals, their commitments. For example, we had 3 tasks lined up: Task A, Task B, Task C. Where Task A was a new feature for my product, where maybe a hiring was required. Task B was some enhancement on my existing product, and C was working on my real-time customer issues. So if it was in that order, probably COVID has just reversed it. my customer
Yes.
problem may be the priority for me right now. The small enhancement may require less effort, so I can ship it even people working from remote. And then probably the new feature, as I said, once COVID become normal, that might come back to the priority. So yes, there is uncertainty around it, and probably Aditya can also add to this.
So more or less, if we say that things are on freeze or things are on hibernate, but it is not the permanent. It's just temporary, and till the world come back to the path, it will be up by its own, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah, Aditya, would you like to add something?
Yeah. Hi all, and thank you Gaurav and Chetan for requesting my opinions. So yeah, I do agree with both of you that the times are tough and exciting at the same time. But I would primarily look at this from a perspective of us, from an introspection perspective, and also as an opportunity to grow oneself and grow his or her mindset.
Yep.
So I had been reading one of the books recently, which is known as the Inner Game Work Learning, which also helps you identify your strengths and also helps you look at these times from a separate point of view altogether. So the book has been old and not written for this particular pandemic. And more
Okay.
importantly, if I just give an example of how we can probably take a look at this particular pandemic in two different ways, while on one side we go ahead and hear the news around people getting laid off, and
Mm-hmm.
there are offers which are not getting approved and people are not getting their offers, but we are on the other hand we are also seeing great booms in other industries such as
Yep.
Zoho Remote, Slack, and probably Microsoft itself,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
multiple areas of
Definitely.
Microsoft. So yeah, so probably what I would like to reframe is that it's not the from me, it's not something which is an overall loss for the economy or loss for the world. It's more or less that the world would start seeing things in a different way, and
Mm-hmm.
that would lead to a growth of opportunities in an entirely different sector, which we might not have been thinking as of now, and which were far-fetched dreams for us at this moment.
Yep. Point well taken. So now let's move to the another second discussion that is related to job scenario again. So if I ask how tough or can I say how easy is it going to find a job for a fresher in these tough times, and what technical interviews actually going to get changed during pandemic and post pandemic as well. So Gaurav, would you like to start it?
Yes, I think Aditya has a huge list of things to do. He even keeps telling me to check those online. But yes, these are difficult times for job search as well, Chetan.
Mm-hmm.
But it also reminds me of a movie which I watched recently, कलाकार. कि पॉजिटिव नहीं रहेंगे तो और ऑप्शन भी क्या है, पॉजिटिव रहना है और ऑप्शन भी क्या है, राइट? सो एट वन एंड we can see industries are impacted and service sectors, especially for a few of my friends are in airline industry that is worst hit,
Mm-hmm.
hospitality, So it is certainly a concern at one end. Moreover, what I am also observing that lot of organizations are going through digital transformation,
Mm-hmm.
not by choice, of course, by force. But again, it is an opportunity for IT people. Similarly, more of automation is coming up due to less human interaction available now. So automation is also one thing that is definitely going to go up. You can see, I think you can add it more better as well. We can see utility apps like Arogya Setu coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So government is also funding a lot of initiatives if you wish to try
Yep.
out. So yes, overall, I think Aditya can probably bring in more the job factor, but yes, we don't. What choice he get? Right?
Yeah. Before going further with Aditya, I want to add one point here. What I am seeing in this corona time, in this pandemic time, that we who are working in the industry since last 10 years or let's say 12 years are facing lots of challenge while unlearning the things. like we were doing the things differently before corona, and now the a lots and lots of things are changing. But for a fresher, it's a fresh start anyway, either with corona or either whether it's without corona. Then the fresher is going to do these things. He doesn't have anything to unlearn. So it's a if I see the overall scenario, then it's a good opportunity for a fresher to get started here. Yes, I would like to shift it to Aditya now.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you, Chetan, on this front that the people who have learned a lot and who have been into the workforce for a very, very long time,
Yes.
turning to the new normal is much more difficult for them than
Mm.
somebody who, for him, this was their original normal. So yeah, so the freshers, I believe, are in a very well suited position, and they should not be feeling like it is a tough time for them. So I do believe that that the times are tough, and or rather, I would say that the times are a bit uncertain as of now, and which is why both the companies and the people are a bit conservative on their approach, and which is why these questions have been on the forefront of everybody's mind. However, I do feel that we have similar situations in the past, and we have gone through them. We have overcome them, and IT industry has been ever booming. So it has never actually diminished in any form over
Yep.
the last few decades. So I'm pretty sure that we would go through this as well. And one and the key and the most important thing which has caused or which has made a particular person boom in this industry is just the confidence on himself, and more importantly, being a constant learner. So and being ready to yeah, being ready to learn and unlearn uh, old things and new things at the same time. So I think we had similar questions when AI came up, that what will happen to the
Yep. Yep.
uh,
Same.
to the normal jobs. So I think this question would keep coming up again and again, but as soon as we are ready to adapt ourselves to the new requirements and probably change ourselves and change our mindset to fit those, I think we should be fine. And I'm pretty sure that the new generation is much more powerful than these times. So
We're
I don't have
targeting on the top.
I yeah, so I don't have any doubt that it's going to be any difficult at this time for them to finding the jobs. Talking about the difficulty part, I would rather say that it would be different. It should not be difficult. So I could start taking up or rather talking about the technical interviews part first of all. So and then I'll lead you to you guys to throw in your thoughts as well. What I understand is the fact that given work from home or remote being the new normal, I do believe that having remote interviews, being able to convince other person who's on the other side of the chair during an interview would become remote too. So
Yep.
things like, so the importance would shift from having a discussion from or probably having an idea about solving a problem to just solving the problem. We would have access to more tools during an interview. We would have clarity about more things, and probably we'll have the judgment which an interviewer takes during an interview. Those parameters would also start to change. So a few things that come to my mind are primarily the fact or the way we write code in an interview. So as of now in the industry, we are given either a whiteboard or a sheet of paper wherein we have to first articulate the problem, write down some test cases, and then probably write the code to get it working. With the
Yep.
new remote thing coming in, I am pretty sure that though we have tools now, the tools will become more sophisticated and aligned to the interview requirements, which would help us not only write code and run it. It would also be around having discussion about how to structure a particular solution and how to handle edge cases around it. One of the
All
different
right.
things one of the different skills which I believe people should start focusing on with respect to their interviews. And interviewers, or probably everybody, would be starting to look at in the interviews would be not the ability to dry run a particular code, but the ability to actually get the running code. So as of now, when you're writing something on paper, you are not executing it with a computer. So
Yes.
if you and your interviewer plan to or go ahead and miss a particular line which should work in a particular way, but it is not working on the paper, it just goes ahead. But with the compiler running in and an IDE at your desk, such problems would actually start showing up in the interview. What this also starts showing in an interview would be your ability to be a problem solver and your ability to be a debugger.
Yes.
So so looking at from a positive side is that I have been to a few interviews which are remote, and I was appreciated for the fact that though you were not able to get the code working in the first go, you didn't panic, or you didn't or you didn't start looking for Google right away. You were always ready to put some breakpoints, put some key statements all together in the code to help you understand how the code is functioning and getting through all the test cases. So probably this trait would start showcasing more in the remote environment, and probably it would soon become one of the important discussion points during a hire or no hire discussion. That's what I believe. I'm not sure how this would go ahead, but yeah, I believe that this should be one of the most important things, or one of the most important skills everybody should be needing in the upcoming days. The other part which I believe is that the skill of unit testing your code, the skill of identifying key questions, the skill of identifying key test cases should also become really important.
Yeah, pretty insightful.
Right. So that's how I believe the technical interviews in the short term, or a longer term should be going forward. So over to you, Gaurav and Chetan.
Yeah, so we have discussed it. So right now I would like to see the clock as well and want to move further.
Sure,
Very
sure.
important.
Yeah. So the another point is preparedness. So how one should prepare for her or for his career ahead. How one should prepare himself or herself for the post-COVID times. How important is this hacker rank, lead code, and other competitive coding platforms? So how would you take it, Aditya?
Yeah, sure. So I think it's one of the topics which I like talking about very much, and we had been talking it previously in our discussion as well. So yeah,
Yep.
competitive coding platforms are primarily, if I talk about, as I was talking about the interview setup, a remote interview setup, it competitive coding platforms actually help you get acquainted with those platforms, and help you like become easy with using those tools, and making it normal for you to make sure that whenever you submit a code, it will not be working right away.
Yes.
So probably all these platforms which are being set up their aim was to get this inculcated into a student, or anybody who is willing to solve uh, real world or near real world problems in a very constrained setup. So for
Yep.
example, if we talk about our jobs, it's more or less that you are given a vague problem, you have to define it and then identify how to solve it in real world. But with respect to competitive coding, they constrain the problem for you, and just try to own your skills, own your thinking on the lines of identifying the right tools, which are the data structures and algorithms at this moment, to
Yep.
apply to this problem and get the solution for this. So probably I believe that uh, practicing on these is highly important, and in order to grow your mindset, and in order to structure your thinking towards a problem solving or algorithmic thinking, what we call. So each of these platforms have their own pros and cons. So probably lead code is more focused towards the interview preparation, wherein the questions are pretty much aligned with what you might go ahead and see in multiple interviews. Hacker Rank, Code Forces, and Top Coder and Code Chef. These sites are more aligned towards the competitive programming itself, and they have competitions or problems which are structured in the form of a story, wherein you have to first identify the key points and then apply the algorithms.
Yes.
So, however, practicing on these is nevertheless an improvement in the skill, and it's a habit that one or that every developer should get into over life, to start spending some time on either a daily basis, weekly basis. So my point is continuously to
Yes.
to keep doing this, so that they are honing their skills and their ability to think, their ability to apply algorithms in unfamiliar scenarios on a daily basis. So this
Yes.
is not something which is not which is only required for the freshers or the college students or people who are just looking for jobs, but I believe it is required for everybody who is coding in one or the other way.
So it's kind of workout.
Yeah. So what we call it as, it's called the programming kata.
So I'm also seeing a probability where the companies might be going for campus placement as well. So it's
Right.
kind of pool campus arrangement, and that's going to happen over the hacker rank. Gaurav, how do you see this?
Yes, I mean, regarding the tools which you need to get prepared, Adit has, I think, covered all the possible subsets. He has not
Yeah,
left.
I want to discuss the HR perspective, whether which I am foreseeing the most of the HRs and most of the campus recruiters are going to use these platforms only. They are going to host their competitive coding uh, coding platforms, coding events on these platforms, and going to invite all the colleges, all the campuses, and people are going to solve the problems in the real time and then going to get hired. So, am I right with my view, or what do you think about it?
I cannot just exactly comment whether this is going to be the exact model.
Yeah.
But yes, if we talk about possibilities, if companies has to do mass recruitment ahead, and this COVID does not allows them to go through the traditional means, then this is one of the options which the students can expect at their end.
Might be there.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Thank you.
I agree with both the points. There's a platform by the name of InterviewBit who has also landed into this situation where they're actually connecting with the recruiters and the students, and the ranks and probably the cover letters and the kind of problems students are solving on their website is helping recruiters connect with the right set of candidates. So it's a step in that direction, but
It's already happening.
it's already started to happen, and I believe that it would continue. So we might not know
Yeah.
which of these coding platforms you might be the might actually become the de facto standard for getting yourself hired.
True.
All right. So now come to this part. What technical topics should a college graduate focus? And it's not related to pandemic itself. It's related to the generic. So what are the core topics a recent graduate or the one who is already studying in the college should focus?
Gaurav, would you like to
So
take it up?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
sure.
would just give a start to it probably. That the basics still remain the same, right? The enabler, it was a face-to-face human interaction. It might just overnight change to a technical platform, but the basic remains there. One programming language, data structure, time and space complexity, those checklists are always going to be there. And the more you solve the problem, the more you get familiar with the more you get familiar what you can expect you in your interviews, and it will also help you solve a new problem altogether in an interview.
Yes.
So, and often people think that a particular language or particular technology is going to help them for the interview. That is a myth, according to me. You just need to have one programming language. You need to be good in that, and if you are you have to be clear about your target. If you are targeting for internship in small startups, then you have to be on your toes. You have to look into some ML projects, some AI projects, or whatever they are looking for, because they won't invest much time in training you on those sets. They want job-ready candidates more, right?
Yes. Yes.
So for those, your target, once your target changes, your preparation changes accordingly. And regarding language, I know we three of us have, each one of us has individual favorites. I like Java, you like Python, Chetan, and I like C++. But altogether in working environment, I probably wrote my last code in Kotlin, Aditya probably in C#, and you are almost using how many languages I cannot count.
I was with Golang.
Yeah, Golang or R maybe. So yes, so it is, that's my view, and probably Aditya can add to it.
Yes, Aditya.
So yeah, I was just going through the slide and looking at how these three questions actually talk about the same thing, which is more importantly how to develop yourself as a career and what should your focus be altogether. Should it be like improving your discipline, or probably improving or get more certifications are around multiple platforms? But one or the other way, I believe that a good mix of all these is what a particular college graduate should aim for. So when we are trying to look at the technical topics, one of the things I understand is that as you grow in a particular career, or especially in the developer role and programmer, or in the IT industry all over, what is expected of you is both the breadth of the knowledge and probably a depth in a certain area. So whenever you are picking up technical topics, my recommendation usually should be to try out as much as possible, since you have time. And probably it might be possible that you find one of your moxie and something which you actually love to do. So it could probably be doing competitive programming. It could probably be doing research, reading research papers and trying to implement them and getting newer research areas out of this. It might be actually just scanning through data and getting insights out of it, or it might be just doing some front end coding and creating experiences which other people loves, or it could be as simple as just creating videos. Right, I want to create videos, I want to create pamphlets. So those kind of passion is something which you should try and do. So that's where actually things like Coursera, edX, and online certification platforms come in. They provide you a good peek into all these technologies, and having certified in those actually is not a pass or a particular go ahead for your job. That if you are certified in Azure, you would get a job in as an Azure architect anywhere, or probably something else which is along the line. You have done n number of certifications on AI, and now you are ready to get an AI job. What we should start looking at these certifications as is just two things. First of all, helping me understand what the domain is, what the technology is, what it promises, and what's in there. What does it have for the people who are willing to create a career in it. And secondly, if that is something which excites you, it gives you the right tool set to be able to think and apply on the real world problems around you.
आगे सर आगे. Thank you.
Right. So probably a good example could be a deep learning problem. So a deep learning problem will give you the insights of what a neural network is, how to tune it, how to probably create and scale a neural network. If you have to do some experimentation, what are the possible things which you do? But I would definitely not think that anybody in the world would come over thinking about that you have a certain problem in front of you which can be solved by neural nets. So one of the
Yes.
interesting research papers I came across was around the fact that people are using neural nets to actually differentiate between a silicon mask robbery versus an original robbery. So that was something which I felt like, yeah, this is actually a good use case. So I don't believe
Yes.
that anybody would go ahead and help you identify those use cases. But yeah, people would give you the right tool set that if you have such ideas, you are able to think about connecting the two dots and solving some real world problems. And this is where I would say some of the self discipline comes over and organization comes over, that you have to keep a good mix of learning and creating side by side. So
Yes.
if you would just go ahead and start consuming the content, you will become a philosopher.
Yeah.
Right. And probably
That's happening a lot.
right. So you have to keep a right mix of creating something which is the application of whatever you have learned right now, so that you are able to get into the real world challenges, or the real challenges which are never put forth in the courses, which are actually ironed out in the courses. So a very simple example that I could do is, unless and until you have set up Anaconda on your machine, you wouldn't know the problem of or you wouldn't appreciate the importance of using a virtual environment versus a course telling you that please create a virtual environment.
Yes, 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 definitely. I'm very much in the sync.
Right. So that's pretty much what I believe, wherein the self-discipline, organization, and the learning of multiple
Yes.
parts and applying it in the real world problems come across. So over to you, Gaurav and Chetan, for your thoughts.
Gaurav, would you like to add something, or should we move ahead to the next slide?
Yes, I think we can move ahead.
Yeah, because we have very less time with us. So this is the one of my most interesting point, my favorite point. That is gig economy. So what gig economy actually is? So gig economy is that scenario where we have various freelancers, where we have various experts who know a thing, how to ship a thing completely by their own. It can be website development, it can be mobile app development, or it can be some other skill as well, like doing some product architecture, or doing some marketing branding, or anything else. So this is what gig economy. So in future, what I am seeing, what I am foreseeing, the complete economy would move to gig economy as well, and it's going to be a parallel economy besides the regular economy. So I am seeing a lots and lots of project with the token money of 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh INR, where big companies are not going to bid. Let's say a small boutique want to create their website or want to create their app. So in that case, TCS or some existing company, big company, is not going to bother about that. So in that case, that person who is owning that shop is going to find someone from local, and it is where these experts, these students can come in the picture and create those websites, create those mobile apps, and can deliver to the local requirements. So this is what I am foreseeing at the great level in the coming days. Now everyone is thinking about going online, but they don't have that much money, they don't have 1.5 CR to create their website, to create the mobile app. They just can invest some lakh or some 2 lakhs. So in that scenario, these students are the real economy bearer in my perspective, in my viewpoint. Yes, Gaurav, what do you want to add in it?
Yes, I mean, how to stay recession proof forever? Probably I will pick that. And
Yes.
before this, our webinar, I was just I tried to reach out a few people who were actually in tough times. I don't know if we have somewhere it in our slides, or maybe I missed it. But I reached out to those individuals. One of my seniors who passed out in previous recession, 2009, who graduated in that period, 2009, 2010. And then I reached out to another individual who passed around 2013, didn't get a job for almost a year. And currently he's working with Citibank as a data scientist and doing very good. So I just asked him that on behalf of you, I want to share the students who are nervous about their placement and about those things, how to approach their problem. So he said he was mentally prepared about it, that he is not going to be among those 5 students who are going to be placed from college. So he was mentally prepared. He moved to some job locations. He moved to Bangalore, which he said you can move to Pune, Delhi, NCR, probably for those in Noida. So he was ready with those things. And he started building his profile. He started finding out his retrospection on himself. He started finding his areas of interest. He found that maybe data analysis is something which he likes. And he did a sort of self-retrospection. And then he pursued those courses that were aligned to those companies. He created a LinkedIn network where he had those top HRs and top individuals added to his LinkedIn, working in similar organizations where opportunity may arise. And then he gradually landed in some startup and then moved from there onwards.
Yes.
So yes, if you want to stay recession proof, then probably what you say, Chetan, always structural thinking, you can probably add about it. That is very important. Find out your area of interest. Sit down with your friends, family, and your trusted seniors. At least find out what excites you, and you can stay in that profile for a prolonged period of time. So maybe UI UX, you can try for certain online UI courses. If you are more you fear coding a bit, but you like scripting, then probably you can look for some DevOps role. If altogether you don't feel, I move to the next question probably. But yes, if that is stopping you, then it is better to this is the time to retrospect, to find your area of interest, and then work in that direction.
Move forward. Yes, exactly. So I would like to ask my final question. That is, an imaginary friend of mine who is someone who is in college but find it tough to write programming assignments, and there are many like this. So my friend is feeling insecure about his future. So what do you suggest him? I would like to ask this question to Aditya.
So from my perspective, I don't believe that being able to write a programming assignment is a judgment of what or how good a person will do in a particular job. It's just the feeling. If so, for example, there is no he or she should not be feeling insecure in any way. Every role, there are many roles which are there in a particular company, in a particular team, which an individual has to play. And programming or getting the work done through programming is just one part of it. So probably a lot of communication is what that comes into picture, and having the ability to debug software is what is, I think, required in most of the companies at this moment. And just debugging it and framing those questions in a way so that you can get help across your peers is primarily one of the key skills which is required of developers. And the people who are great programmers, amazing coders, I don't think they are the best software developers in any way. I can take an example right away that you might have heard of Kennedy, who is the winner of ACM ICPC or probably Google Code Jam for last 3 years or 4 years.
Yes.
Right. I don't believe that he is the best software engineer whom I know. So best software engineers are probably the ones who are able to nail down big problems into easier understandable chunks, and then identify the right tools and apply them towards it. So programming is, though on the one hand is about structured thinking and getting it into code, there are other parts of the job as well which are more important or probably equally important than just coding your solution into a particular source code. So as Gaurav rightly mentioned in his previous while he was talking, there are roles which you might find more engaging or being more aligned towards. For example, creating use useful user interactions. So probably you can go ahead and look forward towards a career in UI UX designer. You might also find connecting with people something which you are more aligned with. So roles which are like being a consultant, being being in the role of a program manager are the ones which might be aligned with you. There might also be things wherein you might find yourself as the one who has the answer to a problem. You might not be a key coder, you might not be the best coder in the world, but you know when your machine is not working, why it is not working. So those roles are actually equally important in the industry and equally valued also. And we have a lot of jobs in there which we might call as the administrators. So there are network administrators who can help us architect how the architecture for a network for a particular organization should look like, and troubleshoot them every now and then. And similar stuff goes on for the system administrators. And in addition to that, there's a huge new field that has come over by the name of data science, wherein you can go ahead, become a quantitative analyst. You can probably think about the data mining projects and another way, and probably machine learning ones as well. So there's a huge landscape which opens up just because you are into the IT industry. And programming, though being a key tool to get your job done in multiple parts, it's not the sole driver of your success in the industry in any form.
It's not a showstopper, right?
Right,
One
definitely.
exciting profile also which I saw is content writer.
Right.
Engineering students have a lot of stories to tell, and I have some friends who are doing amazingly good in that profile as well. Yeah.
And we have the document writer is something which is really required in the organizations. So technical content writer or probably other. Yeah, please go ahead, Chetan.
Gaurav, would you like to comment on automation testing and cloud infrastructure as well, because those two parts I think we miss.
Yes, I mean the process remains the same. Yeah, a knowledge of programming language and a bit of these things you need. But probably I would say if the level of experience required for a hard core tech coding role is high, then probably you may be able to enter with a medium set of capabilities for this automation field.
Yeah.
First, secondly,
what I think is yes, please.
Yes, please. I will continue.
So what I think, the knowledge of these automation tools is also beneficial. So if someone is not that much good in the coding itself, so he can get a hands-on on these tools, the automation tools, and can get a good job. What I think. So what do you think about this?
Yes, definitely. And despite being so much automation around us, a lot of service companies still have a lot of testing profiles, or are transitioning testing to automation profiles, which are relatively very easy to transition into. I have friends all across the web, posted in Canada, posted in US. They are doing testing and sub automation related tasks and doing very well. They are doing amazingly good.
So it means that coding, if someone is getting coding or hardcore programming assignment stuff, so that's not the end of the world, right?
Definitely.
All right.
Completely
So
agree.
till now it's a quite, yeah, thank you, Aditya. So till now it's quite interesting discussion, and now already we have missed 10 minutes, so we can stretch this if college allows. So now we want to come to the Q&A session. So we have Aishwarya with us, right? Hello.
मनाली नेट चेक करना.
Hello, Aishwarya.
कनेक्टेड नहीं है ना नेट से.
Aishwarya Mittal.
Hello. Do we have someone who is yeah, if anyone want to ask anything, then he can come on this platform.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. The time is yours. We are ready to stretch this for next for 20 minutes as well. It's not a problem to us. So let me the problem. We have some list. Yes, this is Vaibhav 81821. Yes, Vaibhav, please.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Vaibhav, please.
My question is, what are the changes may be there in recruitment process, especially for networking based companies?
Networking based companies.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
Aditya, would you like to take this up?
So so first of all, as we were talking about that the time, so yeah, hi Vaibhav, sorry. So yeah, so first of all, I would say that since the times are uncertain, the changes that are going to happen are uncertain too. So what we could help you with is probably with our thoughts, and these might not align with what the company is thinking about. So with respect to the networking profiles, I would like to get some more understanding on what are the kind of profiles you're looking towards, and probably what are the companies that you are targeting for.
सर जैसे कि एक CSC कंपनी है, CSC डिपार्टमेंट है एक,
Okay.
ठीक है, उसमें नेटवर्किंग के जो बंदे हैं वो मतलब अब जो अच्छी कंपनीज हैं उनमें नेटवर्किंग के बंदे कम ही लेते हैं. तो अब जो नए बंदे होंगे नेटवर्किंग के फ्रेशर्स जो होंगे हम जैसे, उनको किस प्रोसेस में रखा जाएगा, मतलब किस तरह से क्वेश्चंस वगैरह या सर्टिफिकेट किस तरह के मांगेंगे वो?
Aditya, I would like to answer this.
Okay. Sure. Please go ahead.
Yes. So for networking stuff, the first thing is certification is never an important thing. No company ever asks for any certification. They ask for your knowledge. That is the first thing. And if you're talking about the freshers in the networking, then it's a big opportunity for the freshers in this field, because right now every school is going to make their work from home setup. Every organization, big or small, going to have their network setup, and there is a lot of work in the intranet, in the firewall, in the security and all. So if you are a fresher, then just focus on the basic setup, how to set up a small office, how to set up a college, how to set up a school, and also do something with the firewalls. What are the basic firewalls, how to apply the basic rules of firewall in half an hour or 1 hour, and just try to do this everything remotely. You are just taking using VPN, you are just taking remote desktop and then doing this task. So hope I have answered this.
Also, probably I would like to add one thing, Vaibhav. We may not be those exact people in this networking profile, but I have my friends who are working with AT&T, Nokia, British Telecom. So I will try, if you can just note down your total queries, probably a group of persons who are aiming for those same profiles, I can probably help you get those exact answers from those people.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate this, Gaurav. Yeah, any other query?
No, sir, thank you.
Someone else?
Aishwarya Mittal.
Please.
Aishwarya, now you can continue.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
Aishwarya.
Good afternoon,
please.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, my name is Unnati Vashte. I also have one question. Question
Yes,
is modern
Unnati.
technology like Python, ML and AI will overcome the traditional technology like Java.
Ah, Gaurav, let me start it. Yeah, Unnati,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Unnati, nothing going to replace the core stuff. The website development, that mobile apps is going to stay here, going to remain here forever. No matter what the brain you are using in the backend, whether it's some static rules, whether it's ML, whether it's something as AI, so that never matters to the end customer. So as an end user, what I am interested in, I have a query, I have submitted a process, and I got the response, no matter what is running in the backend. So this traditional stuff, which we call web development or mobile app development, which where we are using this JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and this Java as well as in the backend, is going to stay with us, is going to remain forever. Yeah, now I want to give this to Gaurav. Yes, Gaurav.
Yes, Unnati. I mean, I would take it, I would speak it in, probably rephrase it in other way. If you love a programming language, then your heart may be broken. So yes, you should develop expertise in one, but adaptability is one thing which you cannot remove from this software engineering role and from this IT industry. So I personally love Java, and I have been hearing this since my college days that Java is going to disappear. At that time, it was like Objective C is going to take over, or probably PHP was very, very high. I mean, PHP is going to replace everything, but there is nothing like everything is going to be replaced by something. It's an incremental process. New things will keep coming. And as Chetan and Aditya pointed out in previous question, probably learn, unlearn, and then relearn. That will be required.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So,
Okay, sir.
thank you, Unnati. So now we can move to the next. Anyway, I also have a list of some previous questions. So if you don't want to ask upfront, then I can pick the questions from there.
Yes, please, Chetan, do like that.
Sure, sir. So now I am stop sharing this screen. Give me a minute. Some of students have complained that there is no chat box in the meeting. Is this like that?
No.
Yeah, here is a chat box.
There is a conversation section.
Yeah, here it is.
Who has said so?
I can't reveal the name.
Okay.
It must be private.
I don't want to know the name, but actually it is.
Yeah. A student has asked.
Students, you can post the query on the chat box also.
Give me a minute. I am almost.
Hello.
Yes. Who is it?
Yes, sir. Aishwarya here. Sir,
Yes,
there is a
Aishwarya.
question from Panchita.
Sir,
Since many of the people are not good in coding, so directly moving to hacker rank will work.
Yeah, definitely it will work because there are various levels of coding, and I think Aditya would be best one to answer it.
Sure. So first of all, thanks a lot for the question. And the question is interesting. So one of the things, probably as a follow-up, I would like to know what confidence the person has with respect to coding, and with respect to that, going to hacker rank or not going to hacker rank might increase or decrease the confidence altogether. So if the guy wants to get some hands-on with respect to with a coding language or getting familiarity with that, I would recommend the person to go ahead and take a few courses with respect to a language of their choice. So Coursera and Udacity both have good courses in for beginners, which can actually get you started with a particular coding language. So the two that comes to my mind right away is Udacity's Introduction to Programming, CS 101, and Coursera's Algorithms course by Princeton University. So one of the courses is primarily focused on Python, while the other one is focused on Java. So yeah, so both these courses gets you well versed with the syntax of the language and and probably help you overcome your fear about writing a particular function or really small functions in those language. After that, you can easily go ahead on any of the platforms we had been discussing. And Chetan rightly outlined, the questions there have varied level of difficulty. So if you are starting for the first time, you can go ahead for questions which have large number of submissions or which have been shown as lower in the difficulty standard. So
Yeah,
sites
primary
and
level.
yeah, the primary level. And another thing, another approach what you can try to do is whenever you have started learning a particular algorithm, a particular data structure, there are certain sites on the internet which classify the problems into various buckets. So for example, questions on arrays, questions on dynamic programming, questions on stacks, questions on binary search. So you can go ahead, identify your area of whatever you want to practice, pick up the problems and try applying the solutions towards that. So the biggest part is that even if you have started with HackerRank, you have failed on something, it's not something to be disheartened about. So it happens a lot. So the important part is to first give a best shot towards a question and in a limited time. So don't try to give it like a day or so. Always try to give it like an hour or so, and then go ahead, start reading some hints. So in order to be able to move ahead and make some progress into your thought process. So probably that should help you get started with your competitive coding journey or probably the coding journey altogether.
Yes, sir. So, sir,
Yes,
the next
as well. Yeah.
question is from
Sure.
Vinay Singh. He wants to ask
Uh-huh.
that when we start developing projects, most of us just develop web applications. So, what are the other domains in which we can do projects?
To answer it, it's winner, right?
Yes, sir.
So winner, you should start. You can also start with mobile apps, and for the backend process, you can work with Firebase. That's a quite good database that is available online itself. So you can also start with that part. And I would like Gaurav to add something to it.
Yes, Vinay. I mean, I would just like to add sway away a bit from this particular question and then come back to this. Design thinking is one thing which you guys can go through and understand that technology always will remain an enabler for this, for any real world problem. Technology in itself is not a solution. You may call a couple of instances like Uber mobile app. So probably technology is the only solution. But moreover, you should understand that technology is more about enabling those real life problems. So if my audience is such that they are only available on mobile, then probably a mobile app will be a good option for me. If someone is facing in college, some person is doing some job manually, writing, maintaining a register for it, and you develop a simple one single desktop-based application where he could just enter form and you made his life easy, then that is a super project. You can project it anywhere. You can get it written from your college as well, that you help solving this small problem. Probably you pick your college website for admission contact queries and somehow easy it to making that request reach to your admin people very easily, making the IT request reach to the considerable person very easily. So point I want to emphasize is IT technology is just the enabler. So project could be anything. It could be a desktop app, it could be a mobile app, it could be a website, it could just be a simple script which I every time need to go and execute on my local machine to probably dump all the videos from a folder. So that will work.
Yeah, I would like to add one more point here. The thing that we appreciate best in the companies is the one person who is able to write the problem in a single page. That person is the most important person in the company, who is able to write the solution of a problem in a single word page within some bullet points. If you are able to do that, you are able to find who are the actors in that problem and what process they are going to execute in that problem. Identification and use case and user story identification is the best part. So you don't need any technology at all for this thing. So just as Gaurav already have mentioned, just try to think in the solution perspective, not in the technology. Technology is just enabler. Yes, Aishwarya, we can move to next.
Yes, sir. Okay. So the next question is from Vishal Gupta. He wants to ask that in this pandemic situation, what is the necessary changes a candidate should bring in himself or in his knowledge?
Aditya, we were discussing this other day, what these discipline and organizations. So we can put it here.
Yeah, I was about to pick up the mic myself. So yeah, so first of all, it's a really nice question, and probably with the pandemic situation and the setup of learning changing from being a classroom to a virtual classroom, what we believe is the requirement of being able to track yourself on a level which is smaller than what you were doing previously. So anything which you were doing previously and having a checkpoint of, let's say, a month or a quarter, so you should try aiming for goals which are shorter than that. So probably start aiming for weekly goals, or probably start taking daily goals on yourself to keep a track of what you want to do, and what you want to probably and what's your goal at the end of the day. So keep a track of the progress in that way, and probably after a certain amount of time, retrospect on that progress, probably with yourself or with the teacher and with a peer, to understand what could have been done differently to improve, to move towards the goal in a faster manner, or probably in to move towards a goal in a different manner altogether. Faster is not always the right word. Different is the right word. So probably this should help you improve yourself, become more consistent, more self-disciplined, and that's one of the skills which is really important in these times of pandemics. So does that answer your question? So I think I accidentally took care of another question which I was seeing in the chats, which is regarding how to be consistent. So yeah, so please let me know if both the questions got answered. So
yes, Gaurav, would you like to add something?
I think that was sufficient enough. Adit hardly leaves any room for anyone else to add.
That's very humble for you. Humble of you, Gaurav.
Aishwarya, yes, we can take up the next question.
Yes. Sure. So there is a question from first year student Harshika. She wants to ask that what would be the possibilities of job premises made by organization after COVID-19 outbreak? And in IT sector, can we see ample opportunities as most of the companies are doing layoff?
So let me start with it. Sorry, Gaurav, I'm taking the chance. So what is the name? Harshika, right?
Harshika, yes, sir.
Harshika. So Harshika, you are in first year. So it's not the right time to think about the layoffs and all that stuff. You have time. So just prepare yourself best. Take your best shot. These are the best time of your life. Take these 2 years for preparing yourself as the complete bulletproof. So no recession, nothing is going to impact you. And after the 2 years, IT market is going to boom. So just don't worry about anything. Just focus on your work. Just prepare as much project as you can. Solve as much problems as you can. And I would like to Gaurav to add something to it.
I mean, that was fantastic to see someone worried about layoffs in first year. I didn't think about it till my pre-final year probably. So yes, just one thing I would like to add to it. Just key takeaway from this whole webinar probably for you, Harshita, is that Harshika,
Yes,
you will,
Harshita.
yeah, you will probably go through this design thinking thing. Just see how to convert, how to solve real world problems around us. Even United Nations releases a list of top 10 global issues, so you can pick randomly any one of them for say poverty or maybe hunger. So hunger in your college around, in your college radius 50 kilometers, probably take a use case, a slum hut, and how you are going to solve that problem. That would be a great project for you to showcase in your resume in your final year. And if even five positions are open at that time, you will definitely land up in a job, in a good job.
Okay, so
Yes, Ashwarya, we can take the next.
yeah. Yes, so the next question is also from first year student Shivam Nirbal. Sir, he wants to ask that if someone is interested in AI, then what is the roadmap for a fresher to learn and get a job in that field?
Aditya, would you like to take this up?
I believe you are much more well versed in the field of AI with respect to being in an enterprise position. So probably I'll throw it back to you first, and I'll add my thoughts later on.
So if you are in first year and you are interested in AI, that's the greatest thing that can happen to you. So just start with that course in Coursera that Andrew NG has created, and do, and you can repeat that if you are not getting that in the first go. I myself haven't get that course in the first go. I repeated that 3 times. So just keep repeating and keep doing stuff by your own. Just learn what is Python language. Just learn what these virtual environment thing in Python is, how these various environments works, and then move to the some open source world like OpenCV, NLP, and pick any one of these. Either start with OpenCV, that is computer vision, or start with NLP. Both fields are have quite good growth in the coming years and have a huge demand in current scenario as well. So just do a small course. The Andrew NG is the right place to start with. If you are not getting Andrew NG, then there is a YouTube channel named SentDex. It's SENTDEX. It's SentDex, and the guy there is great. He's fabulous in the ML and Python stuff. So you can start with that as well. And if you are facing any challenge, then my email box codeparcel@gmail.com is always open for you. Yes, Gaurav.
That was enough. Maybe, yeah, that is good enough, Chetan.
Aditya, would you like to comment anything, or should we move to next?
So I believe you have covered the preparation part completely. I would just connect your answer and Gaurav's answer together to just give us a brief tip that once you have learned the basics of AI, so the course would tell you what AI is and how you can plan to solve a problem using it. Start applying Gaurav's idea of design thinking to it and see a problem which can be solved using those tools. That should be enough for you to get a particular job into that industry altogether.
Yeah, that's in fact that is more than enough. If you know the basic stuff, then you are definitely going to get a job. Rest is just for the bonus for your employer. Yes, Ashwarya, we can move to next.
Yes, sir. There is a question from second year student Piyush. As a fresher, should we focus on learning new bomb techs like ML and AI and many other as well, or we should continue with our traditional practices like programming and enhancing our data structure and algos?
Yeah, I have answered this question already. That nothing is going to replace traditional stuff. You are interested in AI and all the stuff that is just for the backend. How you are going to automate or how you are making the backend stuff intelligence, more intelligence. So that is for the serving your customers better. But nothing is going to replace that traditional technology that is web stuff and mobile. Gaurav, would you like to add something? Or should we
Yes,
pass it on?
among the limited set of interviews I have taken in my career, probably I have never judged anyone honest. Probably differentiated between the two. So the core, like Chetan said, traditional things, your understanding, your problem solving remains there.
Yeah, traditional is not the right word. It's we say it's the basic. Basic is or the fundamental is going to be there. The fundamental is the correct
Yes,
thing to say
yes,
it.
yes.
The fundamental is going to be there, and data structures, database, operating system, it's going to be there. It's here. It was here and remain forever. Yes, Ashwarya, we can move to next.
Okay, sir. So next question is from Shubham Pal. He
Mhm.
wants to ask that only coding skills is enough for entry in IT industries, or soft skills and overall personality development is also needed for IT industries.
Gaurav, you are the best one to pick it.
Probably, yes. So it is important. Like your personal, think yourself as a product. What we were taught in my MBA probably. So think yourself as a product, and you have to sell yourself. So if you think you are approaching a startup who is working on cool ML AI stuff, and you want to get through it for internship or probably an entry level job, then have some ML stuff ready to showcase it and impress it through your resume, through your live working model. Similarly, if you are targeting for, say, Amazon or product-based companies, you can just find questions related to DS, Algo, whatever they ask. They are all available on Geeks for Geek and the resources shared by Aditya. So if your focus is those companies, then probably you can emphasize a bit less on this stuff and focus more on core DS problem solving, time complexity, space complexity, variation in algorithm. So yes, first decide a pivot, a direction where you want to go, and then probably adjust it, adjust your effort in that direction.
Aditya, want
So,
closing comments?
yeah, so no more closing comments. I believe Gaurav captured it perfectly.
Yes, and
So,
I missed the original question. One part, sorry, I missed one part of that original question. Soft skills and other things, they are required.
Yes.
They are required everywhere in any profile you apply.
and
They
more
are required.
importantly, yeah, so I would say that not in just getting into the company, but surviving into the company, soft skills would be a must, because you would be
That's the
working
most important
within,
part.
yeah, so you would be working within a team and being able to articulate your problem, your current state, and the vision correctly is what will drive you, your company, and your complete organization forward.
Yeah, Ashwarya, we can move to next.
Yes, sir. There is also a question from first year student Sumit. As we can
Mhm.
see after this pandemic COVID-19, our government is enforcing to use more made in India products. So how can IT industry can help in this aspect?
Chetan, you should
So,
just grab it.
yeah, but on the behalf of government, I can't comment anything. And as per the IT part, so government is doing a lots and lots of tenders for their various portals to connect their citizens better. So IT companies are already taking this up. And if I come again to the that gig-based economy, so in that part, as our PM also said, be vocal for local. So if we want to take care of our local small enterprises, if you want to take care of our local vendors and want their product and services to be used by masses, then we need to enable them to use these IT platforms to come online. And we as the software developers, are the enabler. So one takeaway that I want to everyone to take this from this webinar is just prepare for full stack development, everyone. So as an individual, you must be able to deliver a complete website, a supporting mobile app single-handedly. If you are able to do that, then you are never going to face any recession, and you are going to help our local economy in a great way. So that's conclusion from my side. Do you want to add something, Gaurav or Aditya?
No, I think it's perfectly captured.
Yeah, Aishwarya, we can move to next.
Yes. So the next question is from Manika. She wants to ask that how do you think the lockdown would affect the asset quality of IT sector microfinance book, and what has been the impact on IT sector rural borrowers?
I don't think it belongs to us, so I would like to pass this question on. Gaurav, do you get it?
Yes, but I think
Microfinance book and yes,
I think it it will require a lot of discussion regarding the business structure, about their revenue model, and it will take another session probably around that. But yes, it is going to affect it, but it will more depend on the type of revenue models the organization is running on, types of assets it has, be it and yes, it will vary from companies to company.
yeah. I immediately want to pass it on. I don't have enough knowledge to comment on it. Aditya,
Yes,
do you want to comment on it, or should we move to next question? Because it doesn't belong to our domain. So I am really sorry for this.
Yeah,
Aishwarya?
so
Yeah.
I'm aligned with you.
Yes. Yeah, Aishwarya, we can move to the
Okay,
next
sir.
question.
So the next question is from Arpit. This industry has changed dramatically in the past 5 years. So what have you seen from inside your company, and where do you think the changes will happen after the COVID gets over?
Yeah, Gaurav, do you want to take it?
I can talk about, maybe we can quickly talk about our own journeys.
Yes.
In we will keep it restricted to the coding or the project kind of project we were doing and we are doing right now. So I started my journey as a Windows phone developer at that time. It is nowhere today in the market. So even Windows Phone are coming with Android softwares. So I started my journey with Windows Presentation Foundation, one which they used to make a desktop application. So my first project was that, and currently I'm working on an iPhone app or probably Android app. So this much shift I have seen from my college days, from PHP, .NET mass projects to mobile and ML project in my scenario, in my journey within organization.
Yes, Aditya.
Yeah, so
Aditya, you are on mute.
Yeah. So I just muted myself. So yeah, so I started as a desktop developer. So first of all, I started as a network developer, creating protocols and stuff. So very quickly moved to being a desktop developer, then being a mobile developer, and then being a web front-end developer, and now moving on to the back-end side of things. So yeah, so lot of domains to check. And with respect to the company that is being talked about, I believe that people are getting connected very quickly, and over time network has become cheaper. So that has caused a lot of changes in the way we create software. So first of all, there were parts wherein we wanted to put everything in a single bundle, get it onto the client machine and get it running there. Now the world has become more service oriented, and being and expecting people to stay connected to get the best out of everything. And the second biggest change that I've seen in the industry is the way we sell software. So previously we were more inclined towards selling a particular feature, and not the trust. So with the new subscription model, I believe that we are selling the trust and selling an ongoing set of features. So it's not that one big release and we will get the money. It's more or less we are getting the money, so people trust us with our product and with their data. So it's our job not only to keep improving and giving more features, but giving the best experience possible.
Yes, I just want to add a quick point on the software engineering perspective. Previously, we were on those waterfall kind of thing where we were following complete SDLC, and there were separate roles for each and every person. He is doing some SRS stuff, he is doing designing stuff, writing database queries and all. But right now, things being changed at a rapid pace. Now we are following agile, where we are shipping a feature at every 15 days or 30 days, and industry requires a lots of can say all-rounders now. So right now, every developer should be able to write unit test cases by himself. Every tester should be able to write automation test cases. So that's the change, that's a shift that I have seen, and we have a lots of position for the DevOps engineer as well. And in future, if I talk about that part, so DevOps is a part that is going to be shifted to the developer itself. So every developer should be that much basic skill in these automation stuff and with the clouds. He should be ease with the cloud in itself. So that's my answer. So Aishwarya, we will take one more last question and then we'll call off this session.
Okay, sir. So the last question is from Vaibhav Tyagi. What changes may be there in recruitment process, especially for networking-based companies?
We already have taken this. It was the first question. So we have space for one other.
Okay, sir.
So you can make your choice wisely.
So the next question is from Arya. She's from first year. She wants to ask that a huge number of central government staff are currently working from home. So what is being done to ensure the availability of remote access to the network?
We are not the right one to answer it, and I want to pass it on because we don't belong to the infrastructure, and actually we can't comment anything on behalf of our employer. We are everything which we are discussing here or commenting here as in our personal capacities.
Okay, sir. Sir, then the last question is from my side.
I appreciate the question, but I'm unable to answer it. Yes, please.
Okay, sir. Sir, the last question is from my side. I want to ask that what area should we focus on, or other than academics, what skills should we focus on so that we can make us stand different from the crowd?
Yes, definitely good question. Yeah, Gaurav, please start. Let's pick 1 point each.
Yes. So my 1 point is storytelling. You have to learn this art of telling your story. Story by it's not hard. I mean, literally mean a story, a fairy tale, but your own journey, your own knowledge, what you have learned, what you can do, so that you can convey your own capabilities to the employer. So storytelling is one thing you should learn. To develop a habit, you may start writing blogs. You may start reading reading more, and then probably start writing your own blogs. There are many free sites, Medium, LinkedIn also lets you write your thoughts. So get people's opinion as well, how they are liking your story probably. But yes, storytelling from my side to learn.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Aditya, please.
Yeah. So from my end, in addition to being a storyteller, I would also say that spend some time finding your passion. So academics would get you a degree in your hand, but you can go ahead and spend the time while you are in college and identify what is the thing which you would love to do for example, next 40 years of your life. So yeah, So it might be as cool as saying that I want to play tabla. I want to be a musician altogether. So yeah, so that's what I believe, that this is one thing which would differentiate you altogether. So during an interview, if you are passionate about something, it would strike out right away, and people would start feeling that passion. And that passion is something which is not some which you won't be able to get from academics. It is based on your it's based on your exploration and your real life experiences, which you would start getting. So that's
Yeah.
all I think
So
I
the
had from my end. Over to Prashant.
Prashant. For a second, I thought who is going to take care of this question further.
Exactly. I thought
But
where Chetan left, and now Prashant is going to take up.
That's
and the
why
point is also
that,
belongs to same there. So my point is, the most important skill that I want to build in myself is empathy. So if you can think about your customer, if you can think about your teammate, if you can think about anyone of your friend, your family, so that is the most important skill you can develop apart from anything. So it's empathy that is going to give new heights to your career. So this is how I want to end it. And I also I think I have shared my screen. Is it visible?
Uh, no, sir, right now.
Yes, sir. Let me
yes,
try it again.
yes.
It
For
is
me,
Yes,
visible.
sir, visible.
Yes, sir, visible.
Visible, but it was not
Yeah.
in
So
presentation mode.
Now
So
gone.
yes, that's not a
it's visible
problem.
now.
Visible.
So I just want to make an appeal in the end of this session from my side, that I am running this channel on YouTube, that is Code Pathshala. The URL is this, youtube.com/Code Pathshala, and you can also communicate anything related to your projects, your queries at the codepathshala@gmail.com. So we usually do similar sessions there as well. So I invite you to check it out. And now I would like to hand over this to Ajay sir and others. Yes,
Ajay sir, you are on mute, I guess.
sir, you are on mute, sir.
Ajay sir, you are on mute.
Okay. No, okay. So I do not have words that I can say thank you to all you guys. You have done wonderful, and I can see the clock that it is 4:34. So that is the beauty of this session, that we are not seeing the time, and we are going on. I think Chetan has stopped that, otherwise it is going on for another 30 or 40 minutes. So once again, it's thank you, and thank you very much from my side, from the department side, from the management side, and for the thank you for Code Pathshala also. And I am looking forward that we can run such webinars in the future also. So thank you on for my behalf. Anything else if you want to add by Prashant sir, the organizer of this webinar, then please, Prashant sir, you can add.
Thank you, Ajay sir. So I will put you, Mr. Gaurav, Mr. Aditya, on the behalf of the Department of Computer Application and KIET Group of Institutions. And again, I put my thanks to you to spare your time for us and for our students. So thank you very much.
Pleasure was
Pleasure is ours.
sir. Thank you so much.
The pleasure was
And
ours, and thanks a lot
and
for
we
giving us this
thoroughly
chance.
enjoyed this session, and we don't have any intention to stop it here. But actually, some other things are pending there, so that's why we need to stop it here. So Gaurav, Aditya, do you want any closing remarks, or should we stop it?
Thank you, everyone. I mean, we are also learning. This is our second such session, so it was great to interact with you all. And I was amazed by number of first year, second year students asking questions related to job placement. So that tells us the kind of future they have. And all the best to those students. Yeah, that's from my side.
Yeah, so I second the feelings, and I would like to thank you all for being such an amazing audience. I think even virtual, I never felt like I was sitting in my home. I was really feeling like I was connected, and the questions were really engaging and helping us think a bit beyond what we have been thinking of lately.
Yes.
So thanks a lot, guys, for asking such engaging questions. And I would also like to thank Chetan for being such a wonderful host and helping us with this and like inviting us to this session and giving us this opportunity in addition to the Kite Institute as well.
So I want to close this session with the thanking note for the Ajay sir, for Prashant sir, and all the faculty members like our ma'am and others who have supported us for this journey. And special thanks to Aishwarya and all the other students who are patiently listening us since last 1.5 hours. So that's really great, and I appreciate that. I wish very good luck to all. Stay healthy and stay safe. So I want to end this here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you.